I didn't have, I didn't think, I didn't have, I didn't think. Let me start again. I didn't think I would have enough time to cover this particular specimen here on the channel, given everything else that's going on in the minute, and given that I only have so many hours in the day. But it would have been wrong of me, it would have been negligent of me to pass over this guy here, this fantastic specimen here, known as one of Ireland's most notorious fraudsters and described as a one-man crime wave. How could I not include him in my coverage of all things heinous, horrible, and horrendous, mixed in with all the other skullduggery and shenanigans going on in the Emerald Isle, or on the Emerald Isle, on it, in it, around it, you name it. Conman Brandon Abrams. You know, this guy, I think, holds the record for the most amount of Irish prisons that he's been held in. And as you can see from the headline here, another massive embarrassment on this shambolic Mickey Mouse Irish government. Notorious fraudster should not have been in the country at the time of his latest offending. Well, who would have thought someone overstaying their welcome, especially a criminal, who goes on to commit more crimes? What a shock. Not. 33-year-old criminal who took part in organised money laundering, including benefiting from a €500,000 and post smishing scam. I don't even know what smishing is, but I'll tell you what, it's profitable. Shouldn't even have been in the country when his latest spate of offending happened. This guy doesn't just offend, he has a spate of offences. And he's got himself quite the reputation. He's considered one of Ireland's most notorious fraudsters and has been described as a one-man crime wave. Detectives have previously investigated his links to senior players in the wonderfully named Black Axe Gang. But sources say his latest convictions relate to frauds that solely benefited him and a woman known to him. So he's got alleged links with the notorious Black Axe Gang. That's bad enough in and of itself. But this spate of offences is just almost, you would say, stuff he did on the side. Stuff he did just for him. Not for the gang, not for the Black Axe Gang, just for him. A senior source explained that what specialist fraud officers are now observing is fragmentation, how the world's biggest fraud organization, the world's biggest, the Black Axe, operates in Ireland. We're seeing individuals such as Abrams breaking off from the bigger group, setting up their own gang, but using the same type of modus operandi, method of operation, which was introduced by the Black Axe. So he's cut his teeth. He's done his apprenticeship in that particular university of crime, and now he's fine tuning it and tailor making it to Ireland, and he's very good at it by all intents and purposes. Since first being locked up on these latest charges in September last year, Abrams has spent time on remand in 7 jails, making him one of the most moved prisoners in the Irish prison system. So that's another, I suppose you could say, accolade that he has to his name. He's called a one-man crime wave. He's one of Ireland's most notorious fraudsters. He's linked to the Black Axe Gang, and he should never have been here. And he's one of Ireland's most moved prisoners, racking up a total of 7 different stamps that he gets in various prisons across the island. Before he was locked up, he splashed out tens of thousands of euro to live a lavish lifestyle. I'm sure he did. If he goes to all that trouble, he might as well spend the money. Even though he describes himself as South African national, Gardaí have been unable to ascertain exactly where he's from. What was it they said last New Year's Eve? No one enters Ireland without being fingerprinted, without being photographed, and we know who everyone is. Let me read this statement again. Gardaí have been unable to ascertain exactly where he's from. Like the East Wall Canal attacker who had 27 plus identities and they hadn't a clue, number one, who he is, and number two, where he's from. Jokers. Described as extremely manipulative. Well, you would have to be, wouldn't you, to be Ireland's most notorious con man, or one of them. He appeared before Judge Martina Baxter. Earlier this year, he pleaded guilty to account of participating and contributing to the activity of a criminal organization. Maybe what's it? His conscience getting to him? Also guilty to a further 9 offences: money laundering, possessing proceeds of crime, possessing a false instrument. I don't even know what that is. I don't want to know, quite frankly. A major investigation by Garda National Economic Crime Bureau, the GNECB, led by Detective Sean Dwigan, uncovered a staggering level of offending. 55 previous convictions. 55. 7 jails. Notorious. One-man crime wave. Shouldn't have been here, but he is here. Previously given a suspended sentence at Cork Circuit Court in 2018 in relation to setting up a scam to get bill pay phones to sell on the internet. So this is going back years and years and years, at least 7. At least 7. There he is. One-man crime wave. At the time of the offence, the serial criminal was a student who claimed he was previously homeless in his native country, South Africa. And remember, Gardaí can't even ascertain that he was from there. Why? No birth certificate, no proper legitimate travel documents, no passport, probably. No way of knowing who the hell this guy is or where he's from or what age he is. But remember, everyone entering Ireland has been fingerprinted and checked, and criminal records have been checked. No one gets in. No one, apart from him, apart from the one-man crime wave. He was sentenced to 5 years, for the last 4 suspended, on condition he would leave Ireland within 3 months of his release from prison, but he didn't do it. He then became involved in larger frauds. Okay, we're going to lock you up for 5 years, but we're going to suspend 4 on the condition you piss off as soon as you get out of prison. Okay, Then he gets out and becomes an even bigger criminal. Because he failed to leave Ireland after his release, he was subsequently rearrested and the suspended sentence reactivated in 2019. Why isn't he in one of O'Callaghan's charter planes? You know why? Because it doesn't go to South Africa. They only go as far as Georgia or Romania or one to Nigeria. Don't go all the way down to Cape Town. That's assuming he's from there, which he probably isn't. He relocated from Cork to Dublin, where he built up a criminal network. I thought it was expensive to live in Dublin. I thought you can't just up sticks and move to Dublin from Cork, can you? Well, you can if you're this chap. If you're a one-man crime wave, you can't. You benefit from that smishing scam. I still don't know what's smishing. Someone enlightened me. I didn't even look it up. What difference does it make? You got $500,000 from it. Stolen from 30 accounts to benefit 50 criminals. That's quite a gang he has. And it goes on to talk about tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands going into his bank accounts and through his bank accounts. Details from other countries: France, US, Australia. Making fake, sophisticated UK driving licenses and utility bills and different aliases. Boy like that would have no problem coming up with something to hand over to the guards if he needed to. He's an expert, conman, fraudster, forger. 147,000 euro went through his accounts. Many of you honest Irish citizens out there have had 147,000 go through your accounts in the last few years, or even through your lifetime. Deary me. Bought himself and his partner flights to Turkey, leaving Aer Lingus at a loss of 450 euro under a chargeback fraud. This guy's something else. When questioned if he has gambling and drug addictions, as he claimed, the detective said that the Gardaí carried out a thorough investigation and nothing in his profile suggested that. Abrams was due to be sentenced on Friday, but the matter was adjourned for a psychological report. Of course it was. Playing the mental health card. He's played every other card. He might as well play it too. I have a lot to consider, said Judge Baxter. Said it was a serious case. It's not serious. You know why it's not serious? Because he's still here. You know why it's not serious? Because he's been around 7 jails. You know why it's not serious? Because he was told to get the hell out of Dodge, but he didn't do it. You know why it's not serious? Because he's described as a one-man crime wave. You know why it's not serious? Because he's a massive criminal gang and he can move around Ireland wherever he wants and set up wherever he wants and continue to indulge in his criminal activity. That's why it's not serious. It's a joke. It's a joke. But anyway, the joke's on the taxpayer because that's who's paying for his bed and breakfast at the minute. So anyway, tell me what you think below. Maybe one of you out there has been a victim of one of his smishing attempts. Has he smished you? Has he been smishing you? Maybe even supplied. No, I'm not even going to go there. So tell me below in the comments section. Cut and paste this link to this. There's also a little button called share. Click on it. Brings up a little cut and paste code. Dump it into your Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, whatever groups, email. Send it to whoever you want. Text somebody with it. Good old-fashioned text. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. For now, I'm Rick Munn. This is No Risk, No Reward Media. Over and out.